Ashley, congratulations on the film and indeed on your performance.
Thank
Now,
you.
I've got to confess, I had a quick look at your Instagram account earlier, and
Yeah,
you describe yourself as a South London girl in LA, which is where you are at the moment. How come
yeah.
you're living in LA?
Well, a combination of things. I was always in love with American television, and so definitely had a desire to be here. And back in the day when they did a traditional pilot season, I came with my then boyfriend, who's now my husband, because we were in a TV show together that was showing here, which is rare. Usually Americans remake TV shows, well, they did back then, but they were showing out. So we came. And long story short, after a few trips, I got a TV show that shot here in LA, which never happens now. Nothing ever shoots here. But we just, yeah, we set up our home here and we haven't left. That was like 10 years ago.
So you had to come back to this country to make County Lines.
Yeah, I did. I came back specifically to make County Lines. In fact, I flew over just to do that.
So how did that feel, having been away for so long?
Well, I have been back over the years, and had I worked in England? I don't think I'd worked in England for a while at that point. It felt good to come home. I wanted to come home and work in the British industry again. I miss it. I miss British people, truth be told.
So does LA feel like home, or is the UK still home for you?
I always used to say that home was where the cat is, because we moved Oscar out here and he passed away this not long ago. So now there are less things tying me to LA. My husband loves it here. I think I'd have to drag him kicking and screaming, but I could come home.
You're not going to get another cat then?
Never say never. I think it's too soon right now, but I definitely really miss like having a cat energy around. I love cats. I'm a crazy cat lady. No shame in it.
Yeah. Join the club. Join the club.
Oh, good.
I know exactly what you mean. I think Oscar is a great name for an actor's cat.
Yeah. Oh, he was named after Oscar Wilde, but he could also be named after the Oscar.
Could go the other way. Now, of course, you've done a variety of roles on TV and on film as well. What was it about the role in County Lines that made you want to get involved?
I recognized Toni immediately. My first reading of the script, I felt really emotionally connected. I had quite a visceral reaction to it. I recognized her. I know that woman. There were elements of Toni that reminded me of my own mother even. And I was desperate to play her.
That's really close to home.
Yeah, it is. And it did. Not in that, not that my mother was a bad mother or anything like that, but there was just like a fragility and a strength to Toni at the same time that I see in my own mother. She takes it as a compliment when I say that I drew from her in my performance. She takes it as a compliment, which is how I mean it.
Yeah. And Toni's relationship with her son Tyler, who's at the center of the film, it's very crucial. It's one of the key relationships in the film, really. I wondered how you and Conrad, who plays Tyler, went about creating that on-screen relationship. I mean, did you have the luxury of rehearsals, or was it something where you just had to dive in and hope it worked?
We did have the luxury of rehearsal, a week, which I think was crucial because some of those scenes are very heavy and it's hard just to like jump in without ever having met a person. So that week of rehearsals was crucial to me. And also I had prep time with Henry that we did remotely via FaceTime. And so we had a shared artistic language where we would talk about books and films and pieces of music that would just help us on the day quickly get us to that place. And again, I drew from my mother's relationship with my brother. They have sometimes had an incredibly fraught relationship, which I think is maybe a common theme with teenagers and mothers anyway. But yeah, I drew from that.
Because Toni and Tyler have this sort of relationship where it's really quite stormy, but it's still very loving underneath.
Yeah, I love that you get the reward at the end of seeing them have some peace. I don't think it's tied up in a bow. It's not a completely happy ending at all, but it's nice to have that moment. And for Toni to say to Tyler that she doesn't blame him. she takes responsibility because she is the adult. She is the grown up in that situation. She has to take responsibility.
And there's one particular scene where you have a really bad argument, which is so emotional, and it's very physical as well. And I wondered how you and indeed Conrad went about preparing for that.
We tried to, as much as possible, choreograph what was happening. We didn't rehearse in the space. Our rehearsals took place in a separate place. And so we had marked out where it was going to be, but 90% of that is one shot. So there were only so many times we could do it. And in my mind, I had built so much up for that scene because I knew how important it was and how I wanted to get it right. And I felt like a lot of pressure to get there emotionally. And at the end of the day, I called Henry and I was just like, oh, we didn't do it. We didn't get it. And he was like, relax, we have it. And we're going to do a quick little turnaround tomorrow and we'll have the end and it's fine. But I felt a lot of pressure. Conrad was amazing. We tried not to, it's very easy on set to kind of relax and talk and just be mates. And I think Conrad and I were both cognizant of the fact that that wouldn't necessarily help inform our performances. So we kind of kept apart that day and saved it for when we got into the actual meat of the scene.
Because it's in a very, very confined space.
It's a really confined space. That apartment, that flat, it's crazy to think that we were all in there shooting it. It was kind of, I missed it actually. When I left it, I kind of missed it. When I was there, I was like, this is brutal. But then I missed it.
It's amazing what we get used to, isn't it, over a short period of time?
Yeah. And I knew that, like, that council flat vibe, like even the way the ceilings were painted, the door handles, the light fixtures, I recognize them because I grew up in a council flat in South London. So I saw them. It felt nostalgic. It really took my breath away the first time I realized that's what I was feeling when I was looking around.
And looking at you, I mean, you obviously like makeup and nice clothes, and don't we all? There's absolutely nothing wrong in that at all. But of course, playing Toni, it's the complete opposite because all the makeup's stripped away. You're wearing the cheapest possible clothes, I'm sure. What did it feel like to play somebody who was like the complete opposite of yourself in that sense?
I certainly never forget where I come from, and so it's as an actor, you want to play things that are removed from yourself, but you're also always looking for the truth in the situation. So it was a mixture of that for me. Like, yeah, she doesn't look like how I look in my day-to-day existence, but I didn't come from much more than that. So it also was very comfortable and easy for me to get back there.
And given that you're in LA, I've got to ask you, how on earth have you coped with the double whammy of an election and a pandemic?
Not well, to be honest. I've never been more politically engaged all my life. When the 2016 election happened, I think it was like a real wake-up call for everybody, me especially. And I just tried to become politically engaged. There was a moment where I felt like it was helpless. There was nothing I could do because I can't vote here. But I found ways to get involved, and that helped me a little bit. The pandemic has been particularly brutal, especially when you don't have a cohesive leadership plan. There's no national response to it. I find that to be quite scary. I know that it's a huge country, but a national response would have been my go-to if I was the president.
Yeah, it's such a different system over there anyway, both politically and the way things are organized generally.
Yeah. I think with the new administration incoming, there might be a national response now. Just things like everybody wearing a mask when they're outside of their own home would be a great help.
Yeah, it would. Please.
Let's
hope it doesn't last for too much longer.
Well, I hear good news about all the vaccines, so
well, it's sounding positive, isn't it? I think all we've got to do is just keep our fingers very tightly crossed and hope.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for your time. It's been lovely to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you also for the film, which is absolutely terrific. And I'll say the same to you as I said to Conrad. I've seen it twice.
Oh,
and it doesn't lose its impact second time round.
Thank you so much.
Great. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.